Hello and welcome back to the Blue Tinted Glasses YouTube channel for today's opposition preview. As you can see on screen, of course, it is Leicester City versus Everton this weekend. I'm joined by Steve from the Toffee Blues. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. I mean, not much to smile about the minute being an Evertonian. We had a disappointing result again in the Carabao Cup, but yeah, just got to keep riding the wave, unfortunately, and see what happens next.
Yeah, well, we will talk about kind of how the season's gone so far. First of all, I just want to. The first question I ask every guest from other clubs is what were your expectations going into this season? Because obviously we all know it's not gone too good at the moment so far. What were your expectations coming into the season?
I mean, I was sort of just hoping for more of the same as last season. You know, maybe a, a couple of decent results. You know, maybe just seeing a little bit of progress before we go into the new stadium.
Yeah.
A bit more cohesive, a bit more reliable. That was what I was hoping for, but so far it just seems to be the exact opposite, to be honest. And you know, a few weeks ago, my stance was very much, we'll start poorly, but we'll end up, probably getting a bit better. And once the team gels and the injured players come back, we'll maybe get a bit better. But
Yeah.
I mean, to lose your opening 4 games, I mean that's pretty much that's unforgivable, really, isn't it? Really, for a club the size of Everton. The last team I remember, apart from Southampton this season, was I think Crystal Palace under Frank de Boer, and we all know that they gave him the chop immediately straight after.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I think as a Leicester fan coming into the season, we really didn't have high hopes at all. We were actually really worried. We've been pleasantly surprised, I suppose, with what we've seen on the pitch. But from an Everton point of view, mate, is it as bad as it looks? Because from the outside looking in, it looks really bad. I mean, you have like the 4th or 5th best defensive record last season, or something like that, 5th or 6th. And now you just seem to be leaking goals. Is it as bad as it looks from the outside?
That's what's most disappointing, Dan, is that it seems to be that last season, where one of the main positives in the team was our ability to defend leads and our ability to not leak goals. It's been the exact opposite this season so far. So we're even starting to lose out on the things that we were supposedly really good at. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it is as bad as it looks.
Yeah, I saw a lot of backlash from Sean Dyche after the Bournemouth game. A lot of fans getting on his back, obviously. I saw, there was an Everton fan channel on Sky Sports or something like that as well that gave him a bit of stick. But what's your personal view on him at the moment?
My view at the moment is just a case of, I mean, I've always been quite a big fan of him, but I think on the whole is he's really shown the bad side of his tactics this season. When he came into Everton, a lot of people said to me, "Oh, how could you watch that type of football? You know, and watching Sean Dyche ball and not being so frustrated with it." But to be honest, in his first sort of 18 months at the club, we didn't see a lot of this. It was, we defend leads well. We'd sort of we'd be able to go goal ahead and keep it, or we'd be able to, win the odd few games and keep
Yeah.
it tight and go on little runs. This has just been the opposite, because I think he's been just far too defensive, going 2-0 up and taking off your striker and playing with no striker, or um, bringing players on that aren't ready, or maybe I don't really know what else, because it's so hard to really. What I'd say is you watch the games and you sort of look back and you go, did that just happen? Like
Mm,
it things happen so quick in the games under him that you go, did did that really did he make that substitution, and did that really just happen? Or and then obviously he sort of comes out in his presses after the game and says, "No, I thought we played really well. I thought the subs were great." And he said it last night after the Southampton game. He said, "No, yeah, it was really really positive showing from the lads, and we practiced penalties this morning." Saying that makes it sound like we've won, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Saying that we practiced penalties this morning. All right, well, why did you get beat on penalties then? Um, he's clearly showing that he's got a lot of favourites as well this season, the likes of Keane and Young. And it's really, really frustrating to see. I mean, is there another Premier League club? Is there another Championship club that Ashley Young would get into? I'm not entirely sure. So he's really shown his love for his favourites this season, and it's getting really really frustrating because the closer we get and the more games that we lose, and we seem to um when we lose out on those games, it's another week gone, and
Yeah.
it's like when's it gonna happen? Because you can't wait until January, February time.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, well, his contract's up at the end of the season, but you can't keep him till the end of the season, especially if we keep playing like this. If he wants to stay till the end of the season, which I think is the soonest, is the latest he'll be at Everton. I think even if we do turn it around, I don't think he'll be in next season. Um, it's he's gonna have to pluck his ideas up and pull 3 good results out of the hat in a row if he wants to even stay in the job up until Christmas. So yeah, I really just wanted to turn around, and we saw the little
Yeah.
signs of it against Villa, but no.
Just before we get into the this weekend's game, I just want to get your thoughts on the whole PSR situation. I know that Everton were punished twice last season, two separate points deductions. As I'm sure you've seen, Leicester City were due to get a points deduction this year. We expected it as fans. The news that came out a couple of weeks ago was that we've avoided the points deduction because of a technicality, I suppose, in the rules. Because we got relegated, we weren't a Premier League club, so when we breached, so we can't be punished. What are your thoughts as an Everton fan on that? Because I've seen some Everton fans actually back up Leicester and say, fair play for taking them to town, but I've also seen other Everton fans a little bit upset the fact that obviously you guys got a deduction and we've gotten off basically.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna act like I know everything about what's happened with the Leicester City situation. I don't even know everything fully that's happened with the Everton situation because it's all business jargon to me. So
Yeah,
um, the way I look at it in terms of a footballing standpoint is, all right, if Leicester get off with it, um, maybe had it been last season, would you have got away with it? Probably not, because now that it's happened to us and Forest, and the backlash from supporters, not just Everton and Forest supporters since it, um, I think that has probably given the Premier League a penny for their thoughts and made them think, okay, we can't really get away with this anymore. And but I mean, I hate to be the tinfoil hat football supporter, but I mean, look at look at Chelsea and Man City. It just
yeah,
it sounds like I sound like a broken record saying it again, but you've punished Everton, Nottingham Forest, and they stopped the bucket at Leicester, but if they had punished Leicester, they're 3 teams that are in sort of the same position.
yeah,
When Tottenham, I seen a thing yesterday. Tottenham spent over 400 million in the last 2 windows. Chelsea, who knows what's happening with them? They're just a factory that seems to be churning out footballers at the moment. So there is definitely favourites in this league, Dan.
yeah,
I'm not gonna gloss around it. And I think when it really happened was when you won the league. I think when Leicester won the
yeah,
league, I think since that has happened, I mean, look at the results of who's won it since. I
yeah,
mean, you'll never see that again. You'll never see that again because They don't want it to happen again. So I mean, it's all right saying, I mean, don't get me wrong, we've been poor and we've been poor for years now, but there is definitely a thing of we'll punish who we want to punish, and we'll follow the rules when it suits us. I think that's what the Premier League sort of thing about it. But I've got no bad feelings toward Leicester for getting off with it. Um, if it was us, I'd want us to get off with it. If it was
Yeah.
Forest, I'm sure they'd want to get off with it. But it definitely feels a little bit. It definitely feels a little bit unfair towards Everton that we got 10 points and we had to fight tooth and nail to get a few of them back. And Leicester have got off with it because they weren't a Premier League club, as you say. Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I just want to see the back of these points deductions and all this
Yeah.
nonsense, because unless it's a genuine club that have done something really wrong, unless it's something like, say, for example, match fixing or something like that.
Yeah.
I really think all this stuff it's rules and deductions for the sake of it now. And I
Yeah.
feel like they've used Everton as Forest as sort of an example. They can go, "Ooh, Chelsea and City, be careful, because look what we've done to these two." When really,
Mm.
I mean, do they really care?
No, I don't think so, mate. I think you're bang on though about Leicester winning the league, because I spoke to Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, the other day, and he said that he went to like a thing at Sky Sports, basically, after Leicester won the league a few months later. And there was a big presentation by big bosses and stuff like this. Premier League were there, Sky Sports were there. And Sky Sports actually said that they were really annoyed about Leicester winning the league, not because they actually won the league, but it's because of the top four. So because one of the big teams missed out on top four that year, their viewing numbers were actually the lowest they've ever been. Sky Sports in that year, Leicester won the Premier League. So there's something to take from that, I suppose. And I mean, you're right. Look at Villa and Newcastle. They've got top four recently. They've not been able to do it. Well, Newcastle didn't do it the year after because they can't really financially just keep up with it. You know what I mean? They've got all the money in the world, Newcastle, but they can't
Mm.
spend it because of PSR. It's if your club or my club gets taken over by someone from Saudi, mate, some people might not be happy with it, but go and splash the cash. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Compete.
well, yeah. Look, football's not what it used to be in terms of even 15 years ago when
Yeah.
Sheikh Mansour bought Man City. They were able to go out and buy Robinho on the first day. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
football's not like that anymore. And I mean, look, I always try and remain respectful to every single club I talk about on these videos. And it will never be the fault of supporters
Yeah.
that's if something, if I give a bit of hate towards anyone, but I can say with full certainty that if they have the opportunity to take Villa out that Champions League and put Man United in, they'd do it every single day if they could.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not saying that there's these unbelievably crazy things going on behind the scenes. There's all fixing. I'm not saying that it's corrupt at all. I'm just saying that the media and the way that football is presented in this country, there's definitely favourites that they want. They want to show.
Yeah.
They want to show big games. They don't want a fair league, do they? Where it's going to stay fresh and surprising. So no, I think Leicester and Everton have been two teams in different ways. Have been a victim of that in the last sort of 10 years.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Right, let's get into this weekend's game. So you've not won a game yet, neither of Leicester. Obviously, we are above you in the league just because we've had 2 points from the Palace match and the Spurs match in the first game. But going into this one, on paper, do you see this one as the easiest one so far for you guys? Is it an absolute must win? Would you be happy with the draw? What are your thoughts going into it?
It is an absolute must win, but I don't know if I see it as the easiest one. I think for me, we've usually had a good record at home against Bournemouth. So for me, I thought that was the one that we'd get the points in. For this one, while I'm not confident, if I was going to put money on it, I wouldn't say that Everton are going to win.
Yeah.
But I think, given how we played in the first half against Villa last week, it's given me a little bit of hope, hoping that maybe
Yeah.
we can snatch something. Because to be 2-0 up after half an hour, yeah, it still takes a little bit of tactical nous and talent from the team. So I'm hoping that can maybe give us the sort of springboard to go. Okay, well, let's get a goal in the first half, get a goal in the second half, and shut up shop. So
Yeah.
while the way we manage games needs to change, I do think that we have a bit of a chance in this one to get some points on the board, but we need them, to be honest. Yeah, this is make or break now for Sean Dyche. I think he's probably got about 3 games left to get a
Wow.
point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you've seen of Leicester so far this season. If you haven't seen much, though, obviously Steve Cooper as well is our new manager. What did you make to that managerial appointment? Obviously, we lost Enzo Maresca in the summer to Chelsea after promotion. Steve, I can tell you now, the fan base is split on Steve Cooper already. Half don't like him, half do, and I don't think it's even the Forest link. It's just because of his Premier League record. Yes, he kept Forest up, but I think he's got 12 wins in 57 games or something like that. What do you make to it, Steve Cooper as Leicester manager?
It sounds very similar to our situation. Although now I think more a turned off on Sean Dyche than a turned on. In terms of Steve Cooper, I think his Forest side were always. I never really had the sense that his Forest side were going to be. We're going to ever do anything too special. For me,
Yeah,
for Leicester, I think it's a surprising appointment. I think Leicester could have easily gone abroad and got another manager who maybe could have done better. But then again, coming back up, first season back in the Premier League, you do want that. You do want that sort of that steel, don't you? You want that experience in the
yeah,
league and in England. Whereas Enzo Maresca might have, although he had a good season in the Championship, he might have struggled to come up and replicate that in the Premier League with the squad that Leicester have got. So I think the only way you can tell it is time. I mean, honestly, I mean, looking at it now, Leicester have come up. Obviously, of course, newly promoted side, but Leicester, have had plenty of seasons in the Premier League anyway. That one season was just sort of a nip out, wasn't it? It's time will tell, but to get 2 points in your opening 4 games, it's not bad at all considering how we've done. And yeah, I saw the Tottenham game. You got a point in that one, didn't you?
yeah,
And they're impressive results. They're results that you need to be picking up. Of course, you're not going to win them all, and Steve Cooper knows that. But for me, I think it could be a good appointment. It could be one that slightly goes under the radar, not just for Leicester, but for Steve Cooper as well, because his end to his reign at Nottingham Forest was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? So we'll see how he does. But for me, it could be a good one because I mean, with what I've had to watch, 2 points from 4 sounds fantastic right now.
yeah. I can imagine. Who are the danger men, obviously, for Everton in this game, mate? Because I think look, Leicester, like we were out of the Premier League last season, but I mean the ones that come to mind for me, I know he scored last night with Decore. I do like Decore, I always have. Calvert-Lewin scored, was it 2 the other day or 1? Was
He
it 2
got
or
1
1 he scored?
against Villa, but then he
Yeah,
got 1 against Bournemouth in the game
that
before as
was it.
well. So he's on 2 for the season now.
I'm quite glad of that because I mean Leicester. Well, this is why I'm so worried for the game in general. Leicester always seem to gift a win to an opponent when they're on a bad run. So obviously you've not won a game yet. I've just got nightmares of you winning this one because like you said, both teams are desperate to get a win. But who are the danger men in your eyes for this weekend from Everton?
Well, I'm not sure about Decore because while I have been a big fan of his, a lot of fans have criticised him, and he's been sort of pulled out of the team recently for Iliman and Dyche,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
been playing a lot better, and they put Dwight McNeil into the middle. So for me, I think the danger man will be McNeil. I don't know if you saw the Villa game; he scored a really good goal
Yeah.
on his left foot from outside the box. But in Dyche and McNeil, sort of two of the players that have you know a little bit of a spark in the team this season when we've been so poor. But McNeil can create chances. We didn't know that he could play through the middle so well. And in Dye's really good on the ball on the left wing as well. So yeah, I think they're probably the two danger men for Everton.
Fair enough. And who do you see at Leicester as someone, people that could cause you trouble? Are you worried about?
Well, Mavadidi's always been a player. I think last season as well. Every time I seem to check on Leicester, it was Mavadidi. It seems to always be the name mentioned. So I don't know if he's fit. To be honest, I've just sort of digested the Southampton game, so I haven't had much time to
Yeah, of
look
course.
at Leicester really for this game. But yeah, he seemed to be the player of course, always does it, and Vardy as well. I mean, you're going to get it all season, aren't you, on this channel? Every fan's going to say Vardy to you, but listen,
Yeah.
he's a Premier League favourite, isn't he? He's always going to be good enough to play in this league. He's always going to be too good for the Championship. So, yeah, not the Leicester team of old where you could pick out loads of players who were great in different positions, but definitely still a handy Leicester team, I think.
Yeah. Mavididi didn't start the season for us. Steve Cooper went for a bit of a more, I don't know, different approach in Bobby Decord over Reed, who we've got now at the club. But Mavididi did start the last game against Palace, and he was very good. So yeah, I'm sure he'll start again this weekend. Finally, let's end on this score predictions. I know again, I know it's early, but if you had to put your money on a score prediction, what are you going with, mate?
Oh, well, do you know what? I'm going to remain positive. I'm going to say 1-0 to Everton because purely because we were able to score those 2 goals away at Aston Villa. For me, I don't know if it's just me, but away games, there's a certain hump that we have to get over all the time. Just being at another team's ground, we just don't seem to like it at all, ever.
Yeah.
Um, the best away record we ever had was during COVID when there was no supporters. So that says it all, really. So away games, I'm never really confident going into them. But for me, I think with this one, with how we played in the first half, we just need to sort it out. We just need to sort out our personnel in defence. And if we can get playing, then we can defend the lead. But personnel in the team this year have been so poor that we haven't been able to defend it. So for definitely for the Everton side, I'm hoping it changes around this weekend and we go back to the Everton of old from last season.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1-1 on this one, mate. I think I just feel like it's going to be shared. I think the points will be shared. We're desperate for a win. But honestly, mate, I can't see it coming. We've looked good at times, and I'm sure we'll look good at times this weekend as well. But there's just something about Steve Cooper. I mean, we tried to defend the lead against Palace, and it just went terribly. He brought on Connor Cody, very well.
Yeah.
He took off. Who did he take off? He took off Mavididi, I think it was actually, for Connor Cody. With like 15 minutes to go, we couldn't defend the lead, and Connor Cody gave away a penalty. There we go, and
That was that was
Palace
that was
equalised.
honestly, I had the scores on, I had the radio on for that game, and I was like, oh my! The second Mateta scored, I think Mateta got the first one as well, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like, I was going, oh, I can see where this was going, honestly,
yeah.
because see, Palace are one of them forward-thinking teams, which is
Yes.
something that I didn't know you could do that, but yeah, I didn't know you could be so attacking and want to win even when you're getting beat. So, yeah, they're going to be a tough game to play. But I was watching that and I felt a bit for Leicester there because seeing them give away that penalty, I was, of course it is, of course it is. It literally couldn't have been any later on in the game, really, could it?
No, no, 100%, mate. He'll be good. Of course, Cody's Cody in it. You know what I mean? He's experienced, but he's not kicked a ball all year because he was injured in pre-season. So, that was his first touch of the ball basically, and he gave away the penalty. So, Yeah, it's a shame, but I'm sure he'll be as annoyed as we are. So, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for jumping on this opposition preview. What have you got coming up on the Toffee Blues over the next few days?
Well, we're going to be doing a video with you, the same as this on our channel. So yeah, go over and check it over. We do some really good Everton content, but these are really good videos. I think I'm going to be doing these this season now. So yeah, these are really good because you get to speak to all these different supporters, different clubs. Yeah, and we have a lot of decent videos on the channel. Quite insightful, quite talkative. We all like a good gab. So yeah, go and check it out. Check us out. Follow us on Twitter as well. So yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for anyone and everyone who's watched this. Hit the like button, hit subscribe as well, and I'll see you next time. Cheers all. Thank you very much, Steve. Bye-bye.